Hello, Valerie.
Hi, Kendall.
I'm Kendall, and I will be performing a neurological and musculoskeletal assessment on you today. And this is Oakley, our friend. So I want to start out by performing great hand hygiene and letting her know that I'm going to probably ask her to take her shoes off at some point. Shouldn't have to take her pants off, but I'll be asking her to do some things that shouldn't bring any kind of pain, but if they do, she needs to let me know. So if anything hurts, you need to let me know,
okay, and
we'll stop.
Okay.
So I'm going to take some of your joints and extremities through some different kind of motions, but it shouldn't be painful.
Okay.
So I would like to start out by touching you and checking your pulses. So I'm going to check the radial and the brachial pulse on both sides. And they are strong and equal bilaterally. We move to the brachial pulse. And also strong and equal. So Valerie, I want you, for your hands, I'm going to check the muscular strength in your hands. I would like for you to hold your hands like this, and I'm going to put my hands over yours, and I want you to open your fingers up. Just test the strength.
Okay.
Okay? So try to open your fingers for me. Great. Okay, so I want you to make a fist. And I don't want you to let me push this part down, so I want you to see the strength. I'm checking kind of in the wrist. And, okay? Great. Great. All right, so I also want to see the range of motion in your hands.
Okay.
So what I'd like to see is, or I'd like to do if you don't want to relax, is I want to check the flexion, or the extension, the flexion, the adduction, and abduction. And the same with this side. So we're going to do the extension, flexion, adduction, and abduction. And any pain at any time for any of those things?
No.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's do the same thing with your arms.
Okay.
I'm going to have you, first of all, let's check the range of motion. So I'm going to have you raise your arms up. All the way. Perfect. Any pain in any of those joints to the back as well?
No.
Can you? Okay. Awesome. Okay. Okay, and I want you to, okay. I'm going to also check the range of motion now in your shoulders.
Okay.
So I want you to raise those shoulders for me. Don't let me push down. Okay. Can you move the shoulder? Any issues? Okay. All right, perfect. All right, can you, we're going to test kind of range of motion of the joint, if you will. Can you take your left hand and scratch the back of your neck kind of here, that motion? Perfect. Any pain or tenderness to that?
No.
And the same with the other hand, please. And then I want you to take this hand and touch the opposite scapula, so the shoulder blade, if you will. Perfect. And the other side? Beautiful. Perfect. All right. I am going to inspect the lower extremities for symmetry. I'd like to ask you a couple personal questions. Have you had any issues with hair distribution that you've noticed? Varicose veins? Do you wear compression stockings to kind of support the venous status? Perfect. Okay. And any kind of skin characteristics that I need to go about? Any sores that won't heal? Tattoos that say "Mom" on your thigh? Anything out of the ordinary?
Sometimes I have eczema.
Okay. All right. That's something that we can definitely address. But other than that?
No.
Okay. That's great.
No tattoos.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. All right. So I'm going to put my hands on you again, and I'm going to squat down, and I'm going to check your pulses on popliteal, pedal pulse, and posterior tip. So, okay? So, popliteal, B. Oh, hello, Oakley. Thank you. You can undo your shoes. You might just slip those off for me.
Leave my shoes on.
And it's customary to remove socks and such, but you can usually feel pretty well. No oaks. Sorry, Mrs. Joplin.
I had to bring my dog to the assessment today. I couldn't find a sitter.
All right, so pulses are strong and equal bilaterally, and the popliteal pulse is always kind of awkward. I usually have to get a Doppler at work on the unit. So, okay, now let's talk about range of motion of your hips, knees, ankles, feet, all those things. So let's see the range of motion in your hip. I would like for you to, whatever's the most comfortable, standing, sitting, whatever, I'd like for you to pick up your leg, and can you move the joint out at all?
I'll try.
The best you can. Okay. Any pain with that movement?
Yes.
Okay. Let's try on this side. Nice and easy. If it hurts at all, we don't. There you go.
This one's better.
Okay. So let's try to check the range of motion in your knees.
Okay.
And have you.
Sit.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. So abduction. So we're going to. Okay. No, that's okay. You're great. And, Alright, so flexion and extension. Great. Same with this one. So, abduction, flexion, and extension. Anything with that? Okay.
Okay.
All right, so same with the ankles. Okay. And flexion, and extension. Perfect. And you can kind of see the same thing with the feet, that there's good range of motion. She does have a history of some painful joints, so that those findings on the assessment are expected and noted. All right, so the same thing for musculoskeletal. We've kind of observed some of the joint range of motion, so I'm not going to put her through the paces twice necessarily, but I do want to see her gait and kind of do a couple different things that are kind of give us an indicator of how some of the cranial nerves are functioning. So Val, if you don't care to take a little walk to that last stocking and back. So I'm just checking to make sure that there's not any issues with her gait, that her feet aren't turning inward, and that she's not unsteady or unbalanced. Perfect, absolutely great. All right, can you do a deep knee bend for me that requires you to bend and stand up, just as far as you can, no pain. Perfect. Okay, absolutely fantastic. Okay, and for your spine, we're going to do a flexion extension, so we're checking for kyphosis or scoliosis. So we're going to have you at the waist, bend, and you're going to stand back up. So no scoliosis or kyphosis, your back is symmetrical. There's no issue. I don't see any like hump or anything that shouldn't be there. And then as far as the range of motion of your spine, you can even set. Are you able to move kind of side to side a little bit? And then obviously we just did front and back. Any issues with that? No. Perfect. Okay. All right, and we checked the gait. One more thing we need to do is the Romberg test. Sorry about that.
That's
so we're
okay.
going to have you stand, and I'm going to have you close your eyes and put your hands out in front of you. And what we're checking for is that she's not unsteady, and she's able to stand with her eyes closed and her arms out. Absolutely perfect. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to the neurological kind of portion. We're going to check for Babinski, and it should not be positive, only if you're a baby or you have some kind of neurological deficit. You can use a reflex hammer, you can use a pen, whatever. Just make sure whatever you use is clean. So, and I also have my trusty. All right. So I'm going to have you, your foot. Oh, sorry. So toes are down. Same thing. Toes down on both.
Sorry.
And no, you are absolutely fine. All right, so I'm going to check your rapid movements. So I want you to kind of almost do a patty cake. So I want you to do front, back, as fast as you can. And this tells me that she's able to coordinate, do rapid fire movements, add some of her own skills in, whichever. Oh, come on. Oh, sorry. And so finger to nose. I'm going to hold up my finger. I'm going to move it to different places. And I want you to touch my finger and then touch your nose. So we're assessing cranial nerve status. We're, again, assessing coordination, spinal cord impingement. There's all kinds of things. This is very common with an NIH stroke assessment. So I want you to touch your nose and touch my finger. And then I'm going to move it. And again. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right, now, something else I want you to do is I want you to take the heel on this leg and kind of run it up the side of your shin, kind of like one of those Glam girls in the 50s with the pantyhose. Absolutely. All right, so this is the heel to shin. Perfect. And now the other side. Absolutely perfect. Okay. All right, I'm going to have you close your eyes, and I'm going to touch you a couple different places with my finger, and I want you to tell me where I'm touching you at.
Okay.
This is called the position sense of my finger. So it's best, works best with the eyes closed, obviously, or she would know where I was touching her.
Left shoulder. Right knee. Left foot. Left hand.
Perfect. All right, so sensation, she appears to be able to sense where I touch her at. And I'm going to also check the sensation in her in her face, hands, legs, and feet. And we're going to do that using a Q-tip with a soft side and kind of a harder side so that she feels both sensations equally, symmetrically, bilaterally, that one side's not different than the other, and the sensation's intact on both sides. So go ahead and close your eyes for me. Sorry. Good. And you feel that the same on both sides?
Mm-hmm. Hard.
And for your leg, I'm just going to pull this up a bitty.
Okay. Hard. Oh, hard. Hard.
All right, so I'm going to check your reflexes.
Okay.
If you want to kind of sit back in your heels, or on your bottom a little bit. So we're going to check the brachioradialis, which I'm just going to put here. And there should be a twitch of the thumb. Relax your arm. All right, and now patellar.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
This is a good one.
Okay. And Achilles. All right. Valerie, I really appreciate your time. And this completes my musculoskeletal and neurological video. Thank you.